Okay, are you able to see my screen? Guys, are you able to see my screen? Are you able to see my screen? Please confirm so that I will proceed further. Okay, thanks. Confirmation. Okay, so today we'll discuss more about the CSS. So I hope everyone is clear about the HTML, right? So from last 2 weeks, I think 2.5 weeks, we have discussed only HTML. But now everything is clear for everyone. Uh, okay, so CSS actually CSS stands for Cascaded Style Sheet. Okay, Cascaded Style Sheet. So when it comes to the HTML we already discussed. It's just an skeleton. So to apply much more style and to give the complete UI for the HTML, we need CSS. Okay, so we can use the CSS in three ways. We can use the CSS in three ways. So that is, we can use as inline CSS or internal CSS or external CSS. So in this way, we can use CSS. That means we can apply the styles for the HTML tags. Okay. So the next thing is, how can we use the inline CSS? Inline CSS is nothing but within the tag we need to mention the style for the HTML. Okay, within the tags you can see here body something something something, and we have mentioned the style for that one, right? For internal CSS means, so internal CSS means we will create inside the same what you call we'll use one tag called style tag inside the HTML page itself. Okay, external CSS is CSS means we'll create a separate file and we'll add the style for that particular HTML page. So for example, I am going to show the demo now. Okay, so I'm just going to H1 while so yes. Okay, I'm just going to open it. So now you can see what I'm going to do is just put this one also, so it will be better visible. Okay, so now if I want to apply the CSS, if I want to change the color of this text and the background, how can I do that? So first we'll see the inline CSS. Okay, inline CSS. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use the property called style equals to, here I am going to apply the style. Okay, so you can apply whatever the style you want. So first I am going to make the complete background color. Background color is the CSS property which will be useful to apply the background color for the complete entire area wherever we are going to use. Okay, I'm just going to use black. You can see the complete background has been changed to black, right? Complete background. Okay, I'm going to use the property called color. Color is the property. Color property will be useful and it will be applied to the text. Okay, color I am going to make it as white. Now you can see, right? So like this you can mention any color. Okay, so if you just when you use the all this extension and all, if you install in the Visual Studio Code, it will show like this. So or else you can, I already told you, right, go to the color picker in the Google and use whatever the color you want. So for example, if I am going to create, okay, if I want to use this color, and this will be, I am going to use, you can see the background color has been changed. Understood? Okay, this is how we will use the inline CSS. Okay, so let's come to the internal CSS. Not only for the body tag, you can apply whatever the tag that you want. So for example, I am going to use a paragraph tag. This is a sample paragraph. Okay, here I am going to use this type. For any tag you can use this type. Okay, here I am going to use the border. Okay, you can see the border solid. I will mention the color as well. Color will be, I will mention red. You can see the border. So border is the CSS property where we can provide the borders for the tag. Okay, so wherever the area that we have been applied the border, so you can see the border has been created. And what is the width of the border line? Okay, what is the width of the border line? And whenever you want to make it visible, then you need to make it as solid. Okay, and you can apply whatever the color you want. For example, if I make it 10 pixel, 10 pixel, you can say this is the 10 pixel of the border. Okay, I'm just going to make 1 pixel. And if I want to change the height of this color, okay, change the height of this color, I will use font size. Font size will be 15 pixel. Okay, that haven't changed. Let us see 35 pixel. You can see the font weight size has been changed, right? This is called inline CSS. Now let us see what is internal CSS. Okay, so for internal CSS, we will be having a tag called style. Okay, we will be having a tag called style. So we need to mention the internal CSS inside the header tag. Okay, internal CSS. Inside the header tag, we need to mention the style. So for example, here I am going to create a h4. This is an h4 tag. Okay, I just given this. Okay, if I want to apply the CSS for the, I will get one more here as tag sample data, whatever you want, you can write to. Okay, so for example, if I want to apply the CSS for all the h4 tags, how can I do that? So for that, what we can do is we can apply here h4. It's not required. H4, whatever we want, we can give. I am going to give the color as white. You can see all the h4 tags wherever we have used, those colors has been changed to white. Okay, background color, linear gradient, it will be red. yellow to right. Background image, present apply, background color, okay, and I'm going to give the width, or whatever you want you can change. So this is just for knowing how can we apply the CSS, not the properties. We'll explain the properties clearly. Okay, this is the inline CSS. Like this, you can apply for any tags. You can use the p tag here. If you want to apply the CSS for the p tag, you can apply the CSS. Color red, border color, border we already have used here. Okay, so this is how we can apply the internal CSS. External CSS means you just need to create basics one.css, whatever the file name you can create, but whenever you are going to create the CSS file, you need to give the extension as .css. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to include that file, right? So there is a tag called link tag. So with the help of the link tag, you can include the for any files. Okay, so here I am going to give the basics one.css file as the reference. External CSS. Okay, so I'm just going to comment the internal CSS, so that we can understand better for the external CSS. I will do is I just copy this line, comment this, and remove the internal CSS, sorry, inline CSS on that, so that we can easily apply. So if we keep it like this, also no problem. For just for better understanding, I'm doing this. Okay, this is our simple HTML page. So we have included the CSS file in the HTML, right? How to include that and where to include that, remember. So where we need to include, inside the header tag, we need to include the CSS file with the help of the link tag. Okay, inside the header tag. So for internal CSS also, you need to write the internal CSS inside the header tag. Okay. So from here we can apply the same. So whatever the tag, this is the format for changing the CSS property for the tags. Okay, HTML tags. Okay, and here I am going to give background color blue. You can see it was changed to blue. I am going to give color white. Just going to take a dark color. Okay, from here like this you can change the CSS property for all the tags. Okay, so next thing is there are two properties for the tags where we can uniquely access each and every element. For example, as of now, what we have discussed, with the help of the tags, tag names, we can apply the CSS, right? With the help of the tag names, we can apply the CSS. Now, if I want to apply the CSS only for this particular element, HTML element, only for this H4 only, but only I need to apply the CSS for this one. Okay, and I need to apply for CSS for this one in some other way. How can we do that? How can we do that? So for that we will be having two properties. Okay, we will be having two properties. called id and class. Okay, id and class. Just add it here. Okay, in css, okay, so in css we will be having something called id and we will be having something called class for the html. Class properties for html. Okay, so now what is id? What is id? So everyone will be having, see, for example, in your college itself there will be many people who will be having the same name. It might be same initial as well, right? For example, John is there, John. Some other person name is also John will be there. So how can we identify him as a unique person? Okay, so how can we do that? He will be having a particular id number, right? Or else you can call some register number or something else, whatever it is. So he will be having a unique number for the what you call attendance and all, right? So that id we can, that is what here also the id means. Id is unique name for the html text. Okay, so it must be unique. Okay, so wherever you use the id tag, id property, you should have to mention the name for the id tag, id property in the complete html page as an unique. Okay, so class is like your class only. In one class there might be multiple people with multiple with the same names, right? So here also you can apply same name for multiple html tags. Okay, you can apply same name for multiple html tags. So what I am going to do, I am going to add the css property only for this particular paragraph data. Okay, so for that, what I am going to do, I am going to first use the id property. I am making the name for this particular paragraph as sample paragraph, sample para 1. Okay, you can give any name, whatever the property name that you want to give based on the requirement actually will give, you can give that. Okay, sample para 1. So here I am going to, here I am going to do this. Okay, we just need to copy this name. With the help of this name only we can identify this particular tag. Okay, so whenever you are going to access this, you can do this and color, right, snake hash. Okay, font size 20 pixel. Okay, 30 pixel, you can see. So for accessing, to access the id property, okay, if you want to access the id property, whatever the id name that you have mentioned in the css, you have to use the hash and the id name, and then you can go ahead with your css data. Okay, so here I am going to apply the class name. Class name might be same or is different. It's not a, what you call It's not mandatory to have the same name, and it's not mandatory to have the multiple names as well. It depends. Okay, here I'm going to header header one. So how can we access this ID property, CSS property, class property with the help of the dot? Okay, with the help of the dot we can access. I'm just going to apply the same. In place of this, I will apply the yellow color. Okay, you can see this. The font size I have kept it as 30 pixel, color as yellow. So only this H4 tag has been changed. So if I want to apply the same color to this paragraph, okay, what I will do, I will just copy this, okay, and I will paste it here. You can say this one also, this paragraph data also become same as the header tag. Okay, if I did like this, what will happen? You can see it was changed, right? But actually it will not support, it will support. The thing is, whenever you are using the ID tag, you should have to make it unique. It might work, it might not work, because whenever you are going to use the what you call uh, uh, JavaScript, you cannot identify the particular element. For example, if you kept the function name for multiple buttons, you have kept the same name with the help of the class. What will happen if you want to, if someone if there are two buttons? Okay, let me create the button. Okay, so let me create the button button 1, button 2. I have created two buttons, button 1, button 2. Okay, if I give the same name, class equals to button 1, okay, button 1. So if we give the same name, we will access the names of this with the help of the class name or whatever it is, right, in the JavaScript file. So there what will happen, if someone click on the button 1 or button 2, because of mentioning the same class name for this button, so it will execute the same functionality, right? It will execute the same functionality. So for that, what we will do is we will use the ID tag where it will be unique. Okay, so I will use the ID tag. So whenever I am using the ID tag, the name of the particular element must be unique in the HTML page. So I'll mention it. So for button 1, the name will be button 1. For button 2, the name will be btn2, right? So like this, we can access the buttons with the help of the ID names. Not only the buttons, for any HTML tags that you want to access with the unit, they can do that with the help of the ID tags, ID property or class property. Okay, so this is about the ID and class property. Now let's see the more CSS about the text related CSS. So there are some CSS, there are some CSS properties where we can change the style for the text. Okay, we'll see what are those text related properties. So before going to that, I will tell you about one more tag that is called as div tag, which is very useful. So div tag is just a divider tag. We can not call it as a divider tag, but this is useful to create it as a box. Okay, so you can create the box with the help of other tags as well, but this is the tag where you can uh, mention your complete data inside that and make it as a separate design for that one. Okay, so div tag. So you can give the name, whatever the name that you want. I'm going to give the class name equals to box 1. Okay, so here I'm going to create one more box 2. So here I have given the class name as box 1 and box 2. So inside this, whatever the properties that you want, you can insert and do that. Okay. So let us see some of the text related properties. There are multiple properties are there for the CSS. We will understood now. We'll discuss now. So para 2. So now if I want to change the complete style for the paragraph 2, okay, what I will do, dot para 2. Okay, so let us see the text related properties. So what in what ways we can change the text? We can change the height of the text, that means font size of the text. We can change the font width, font weight, that means we can make it as italic or we can make it as bold, right? And we can change the color, right? So those properties we can change. Font size, how many pixels that we want to give. For example, I want to give 15 pixel. Okay, 15 pixel, or else 35 pixel. Let us keep it as 35 pixel. So 35 pixel, it has been changed. Okay, next I am going to view font weight. Okay, font weight, I want to make it bold. Okay, you can see the font weight is bold. If it is not bold, you can see what is this, how it is. This is in normal. Okay, we can make it as bold, or else you can make it as italic. You can make it as italic by, okay, going to make. And font color, you can mention the font color. Font color, what might be the color? Let us keep pink. Unknown property, font color, sorry, not font color, just color. Okay, I just change it to pink. You can change whatever the color that you want, you can give. Okay, so these are the major. And there is something called font family. Font family, so for this you need to know which type of font family. For example, if you open the any Word or else a PowerPoint or anything, that you can see this type of font families, right? Okay. Okay, so for example, if I am opening PowerPoint, here you can see we have different font families, right? Okay, all this type of font families you can apply for your code as well. Okay, I just mentioned the font family as the Algerian first. If Algerian is not supporting by your browser, it will go to the Times. If Times is not supporting, then it will go to the serif. So these are the font family that you can find in our here itself. Instead of going to the internet, you can find all these font families. Whatever the font family that you want to apply, that you can mention in your CSS. Clear? So if I want to apply this font family to entire page, what I will do, I'll just go here, copy this in the body tab. Inside the body, the whatever the data is there for the complete data, so I have been applied the font family. Okay, but if I want to change the font family only for this one, I'll just change it to some other font family. Let's go here, take some other font family. Mm, which one? Something chiller something is there. Okay. So just use that. So you can see the complete data is like this, and you can design only this one as the chiller. Okay, does this look good? I don't know if it is looks good or not, but like this you can change the font text related data under for the font size, weight, font family, all these things that you can change. Clear, guys? Is it clear? Any doubts in this one? Any doubts in this one? This is very basic level. If you have any doubt, please let me know. So, because from the next session onwards, we are going to discuss in detail. There are so many things that we can discuss in the CSS, but everything we cannot discuss in sessions. So, I'll tell you most useful things we'll discuss in sessions.